At the time of posting this, we're going to be 12 days out from the Black Canyon 100K. In today's video, I'm going to be answering the questions of why am I even going back to Black Canyon? What did I learn the last 2 times I raced? As well as why do I think this will be my fastest attempt ever? All of that answered plus more in today's episode of Project Leadville, a series that follows me, Dylan Tanner, as I'm getting ready for the Leadville 100. As you can see, you caught me here in the middle of my last long run as I taper for the race. Trail conditions aren't super great. Need to get out on some trails to test my final race kit. I hope you do enjoy the video. So yeah, roll the intro. To tell the story of my 2025 Black Canyon 100K, first, I need to give you a little background of how I got here. You see, in 2020, I pushed the reset button on my running entirely. After taking an entire year and a half off from running, I was ramping things back up. And thanks to my friend Justin, I would catapult myself right into ultra and trail running. In 2021, the Black Canyon 100K would be my very first ultra. And in 2024, I would then return for my second attempt to crush the race. And this brings us to the all-important question of why am I even going back for a third attempt? And the answer is, I know I can run faster. I feel like I owe it to myself to run to my true potential and not sabotage my own race by trying to run outside of my fitness. So let's go back to 2021 and see what happened at my first attempt at the Black Canyon 100K. But first, I want to tell you why I chose the Black Canyon 100K as my first ultra. Just before this, in November, I had done the rim to rim to rim in the Grand Canyon and immediately fell in love with desert running. But beyond that, I'd seen a lot of content, all the videos about how fun and fast this race was, and so I wanted to see what I could do there. So here on screen, you can see my Strava file from that first attempt at the Black Canyon 100K in 2021. At the top of my description, you can see my finish time ended up being 12 hours and 43 minutes. And yeah, I can let you pause real quick if you want to read it. But yeah, basically I just talk about how my fueling was really bad and I walked for quite a bit. My legs weren't feeling good. So, you know, that's ultra running. So we can see average pace was 12 minutes and 22 seconds per mile. Elapsed time, 12 hours, 44 minutes. Yeah, moving time was 12 hours and 5 minutes. Look at that pace chart there over the course of the whole race. Just a slow descent to that walk. If we start here just from this mile 1, look at that, 7:33, 7:56, 8:03, 8:18. Honestly, not that bad. This is a lot of really smooth, runnable terrain, so the fact that I wasn't absolutely hammering it by then was pretty good, but still pretty quick for where my fitness was at the time. Quickly got into the 8-minute paces, and if we just look at from mile 1 to 20, just getting a little bit slower per mile. I just wasn't able to handle my nutrition. I was trying to do a lot of liquid nutrition, I think I remember. There might have been some spring energies mixed in, who knows. If we look at mile 20 to about halfway, it was like mile 31, that aid station. Just a slow descent again into a very slow pace. If we look at the second half of the race, a lot of double-digit paces there. 13-minute miles, 12-minute miles, 15-minute miles. Yeah, and then just a slow walk to the finish. After seeing how that race unfolded for me mile by mile, here are the lessons that I learned from that race. Mind you, I did continue to make a lot of the same mistakes in future races from here, but there were a few things that I took with me after this race. So here they are. Lesson 1, gear. I'm gonna put a picture on screen here of picture me during the race. You can see I had a vest with 2 bottles plus 2 handheld bottles, so 2 liters total of water that I was trying to carry with myself at all times. Plus there was tailwind in all 4 of those bottles. I was so worried going into this race that I wasn't gonna have the proper fuel with me at all times, and so I went overboard with it. And that came back to bite me as I tried to take down, you know, 600-700 calories of fuel over the course of just a few hours. This lesson 2, Travel. This one's easy. Don't drive across the country from Ohio to Arizona to compete in your first ultra and then think that you're gonna easily drive home right after. I was barely able to walk around, let alone press the pedals in the car. It was awful. Not advised. And lesson 3. This one's easy. Everyone can learn this one. Don't kick the rocks. No matter how tired you are, just pick your feet up. I had an unfortunate incident where I kicked a rock multiple times in a row. Not one rock, I didn't just stand there kicking it. I did kick a few rocks in a row with the same foot and ultimately got a blood blister underneath my big toenail, which ended up causing the most excruciating pain for the entire weekend. Walking was so uncomfortable with that, and by the time I got home, I had to take a tiny little drill bit to drill through my toenail to release the pressure from that blood blister, and then that toenail ended up falling off. Yeah, don't kick the rocks. So I want to quickly fill in the gap between 2021 and 2024. The main difference was in 2022, I moved to Colorado. So I am coming off of some training now that has given me renewed confidence in being able to crush this race. I was more fit and more experienced. And as you'll see, it didn't make any difference. Okay, so on screen here you can see again is my Strava file from the 2024 Black Canyon 100K. The main rundown was fueling went poorly again, and I walked for quite a bit, slowed my pace a lot, and only ran a little faster by 40 minutes. Again, I was a little bit faster. Average pace, 11 minutes and 45 seconds per mile. So 30 seconds per mile faster, something like that. And a finishing time of 12 hours and 5 minutes. And if we look at the pace chart here, we can see again, same exact decline at the same spot, and same walking at the same spots as well. So not a lot changed. 6:44 pace for the first mile, which is on road, but still fast. And it was muddy this year, so theoretically it should have been a little bit slower. But 7-minute miles for a few in there. But until mile 18, I was hitting some 7s. And then again, mile 20, that is Bumblebee aid station. 10-minute pace, 11-minute pace, 12-minute pace. I was walking again. Same reason again, fuel. I did turn it around mile 26, and I was able to get a little bit of a slower jog going for most of the race up until about Table Mesa, like mile 50, at which point I started to walk again. Very slow walk. Final 3 miles, 2 miles from the last aid station, I got a little bit of a jog again and was able to finish it out, but only 40 minutes faster. That brings us to the lessons I learned from the 2024 race. I had already been thinking about these lessons mid-race, taking mental notes of what I would desperately need to change if I was seriously thinking of trying to run faster at this race. Lesson 1, fueling. This was definitely the biggest one. It was the reason that both of my races started to go downhill and continued to go downhill from then. I've now been training and racing exclusively with precision fuel and hydration. With precision, I'm able to get down 80 to 100 grams of carbs an hour and easily get my electrolytes in over the course of the race as well. Lesson 2. Goal setting. My downfall again was going into the race thinking that I had some sort of elite performance that was just laying dormant and waiting for me to just go for it. And that just wasn't the case. Since then, I have reflected on my goal setting, and I now am more honest with myself when setting goals for races. Lesson 3. Lesson 3. Pacing. I'd say pacing goes kind of hand in hand with goal setting, but I still wanted to put it as its own lesson. As you can see by my pacing, I start very fast and very confident, and that quickly fades into a walk. And so pacing is something that I've been trying to work on at my races, going out at a slower effort, even though I feel great in the beginning because everyone does. It's an ultra. And that brings us to 2025. And so you might be thinking, Dylan, what's your mindset going into the race this year? And right out of the gate, I just need to mention that Black Canyon is a B race for me this year. So going in, I'm not putting any pressure on myself for any crazy performance or anything like that. Just want to have fun and have a fun long run in the desert. With that said, I am going into the race with 2 huge advantages that my past self didn't have. The first is that I've been working with a coach since September. I've been working with Gabe Dorn from Golden Endurance, and he's been a huge help with all of my running training as well as my gym training. Because of all of this, I feel like I'm the fittest and healthiest version of myself that I have been since getting back into running. And second is my fueling. I've been practicing with precision for almost a year now, and I can confidently say that I'm gonna be able to get in the calories and electrolytes throughout the race that I'm gonna need. So finally, what are my expectations for myself? Well, as I said, this is just a B race for me, so I just wanna have fun. I'm really excited to see friends and hopefully share some miles out there with some really cool folks as well. But at the end of the day, I do race better if I'm chasing some sort of goal. And for now, I'll say that my goal is to run a PR. Now, as you've seen with the progression that I've had over the last 2 attempts, this shouldn't be too hard of a goal to reach. And that about wraps it up. This is gonna be part 1 of a mini 3-part series for Black Canyon. So the next video is gonna be next week. I'm gonna show some of my gear and also show off my fantasy predictions for the race. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I would really appreciate if you left a comment letting me know what you thought of it. My goal this year is to make high quality, entertaining content, and I can't do it unless I'm getting feedback, so I would love to hear what you think. And with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.